This is Everyday People, a program in which we investigate the lives of people making a difference in our community. Good morning, this is Robert McBride with another episode of Everyday People. Today we are going to highlight the 41st annual Putney Craft Tour that takes place over Thanksgiving weekend. And today we have a few of the craftspeople with us, and you'll notice as we're talking in the background there'll be a series of shots that highlight the craft tour over the years and with current participants. So today we have Kim Grawl, and we have Tom Goldschmidt, and we have Marcy Maynard, and to share some of the work they're doing. And how many are on the craft tour in total? How many artists are participating?
We have 22 studios.
22 studios open, great. And so it's going to be over Thanksgiving weekend. And let's talk a little bit about you, Kim, since you're right next to me.
Okay.
And have you participated in this for a number of years? Are you one of the originators?
No.
Okay.
I'm on my third year.
Okay.
And I work with gourds.
Uh-huh.
I'm a multimedia artist working with gourds, is how I describe it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a couple pieces here. These are ornaments that I do. They're one of the smallest gourds that I grow called sub-minis.
Uh-huh.
And I burn my designs into the gourds. Most often, that's what I've come to really love. And I use dyes and other things, paints, and for details and whatnot. I have something new that I'm doing on the tour this year, which is the baskets.
Wow.
This is, I would call, a medium-sized gourd that I do, because I do really big gourds too. And this is from a, what they call a large martin gourd. And I use paper this year a lot for color. I'm always doing different things and beads. So the paper, handmade papers. Some of them are my own, some I've bought. And also the designs, I sometimes just look at the gourd and there's lots of markings, and that will inspire me for what I, do.
Right.
Another one back here, I also started doing where I collect pieces of metal and glass and all kinds of things and start adding them to the gourds. So this one has a metal base. I use vines a lot for, so like this is a vine that's wrapped to connect the metal to the gourd. And again, lots of paper. And this is like the tiniest gourd that I grow is the sub-mini. So I use it as decoration too.
Yeah,
So,
those are fantastic.
yeah, and you can put your knitting, your sewing, you can use them for lots of different things. So.
Fantastic. Those look great. Great. Tom, you're up there next. You got what do you do?
Well, I turn wooden bowls, and I try to source my wood locally. We've got a lot of wonderful hardwoods here in Vermont, and this year people have been actually coming to me with wood from a tree that may have fallen in their yard, and have asked me to make bowls. This is a black walnut bowl from a tree that came down in a storm over in Westminster West. And I made a number of bowls for a friend of mine that asked for those. This one came from a lovely sugar maple tree that was up at High Meadow Farms. And when that tree fell, they were really quite sad about it. It was right in their dooryard, beautiful old sugar maple. And I've been turning bowls from that. Those are just two examples. I have a variety of different other bowls in my studio, of course.
Right. And I imagine, like Kim, the wood kind of inspires you. I mean, you are going to do something, but you might see something in a piece of wood, or do you start to see it as you start to work with the piece of wood as it becomes more revealed or something?
It's always a surprise. And I think that's what makes it so interesting for me, is every bowl is a little bit different. Every piece of wood is a different opportunity. And sometimes I have to be very patient before that bowl kind of emerges from the piece of wood that's turning on my lathe. But that's what I find fascinating about it.
And how the functionality of how some people use them. I mean, you don't just pop them in the dishwasher.
No. In fact, I try to emphasize that you don't really even need to put soap on them. Just wipe them off with warm water. When I sell a bowl, I give people a little mixture of my walnut oil and beeswax.
Secret
And,
ingredient. Yeah.
I encourage them to, have a relationship with their bowl. Touch it every once in a while, put some oil back on it. The wood likes that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Marcy, you get a little overview on what you're up to down
Well,
the other end of the table.
I am a painter and I also do printmaking. So I brought a oil painting along. It's called A Place to Stay. But I guess I'm very exploratory about my painting. So I'll work in this, which I consider abstract. It's landscape inspired, but it's an abstracted landscape. I also work in I have a sample here of a more impressionistic painting. All pretty much landscape inspired. This was a ornamental pear tree that I knew that we would probably have to take it down eventually because it had a little bit of disease. So I just thought, I'm going to do a bunch of paintings of this. So I did this one little oil painting, just honoring the tree. In fall, obviously, just the colors were beautiful. So that's impressionistic. And then I also work in a tonalist style that is like turn of the century tonalist, where it has a brown underpainting and then areas of color that are very kind of evocative, but also landscape inspired. And then I'm clearly exploratory because I also do printmaking. But I brought this little print of, it's a monotype print, and mono means it's just one of, you prepare the plate in a way, you run it once, you can run it through twice, or 3 times even, but what you're doing is creating an original one piece of art. So this is black ink, with oil-based ink with, I use pastel, so it's kind of multimedia, I guess. So I sometimes put pastel on, sometimes I don't. But I just am very exploratory with my work and mostly landscape, trying to create a foreground and strong foreground and background and make it a space that people would want to enter, like inviting that way. So that's kind of what excites me about painting and printmaking.
Great.
So.
Great.
And also I forgot pastels. I work in pastels too. So whatever I feel the landscape needs or whatever I'm trying to express, because sometimes I'm completely abstract, and I'll use pastels also.
Great. Well, if you just tuned in, we are discussing with 3 different artists that are participating in this year's Putney Craft Tour, which is over Thanksgiving weekend. So it's actually the 29th, 30th, and December 1st, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I assume it runs like 10 to 5 each day.
It does.
And for someone many of you probably have been on the tour, but if you haven't, let's try to kind of frame out the experience for someone. So you would come to Putney, and you could look on their webpage first if you'd like, which is just putneycrafts.com spelled out. And I'm sure they have a Facebook page, but you could probably go there and get some information about it. And then in downtown Putney, I believe the Gleanery down there
It's a welcome center.
is a welcome center and has a gallery space. So one of each artist or a couple of each artist's work would actually be in that space.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with a particular artist or feel a little hesitant, you could go to the Gleanery first, see all the different kind of artists there, kind of put together the tour for yourself. And at the same time, when you're downtown Putney, you could eat at several different restaurants and check out other things. And I think there's some performance things going on at the Sandglass Theater next door and Next Stage. So even if you know the artist you want to go for, I'd still recommend, get to downtown Putney at some point, kind of hang out and check things out. So tell me about people coming into your studio. As an artist, you work all year. I don't imagine you keep your studios open all year long do you have a sign at the edge of the road that says come in anytime? Or what's it like to prepare yourself for the Putney Craft Tour?
I'll go first.
You go first.
I tell everybody I know that as long as the barn door's open, I'm
Okay.
in my studio and they can come. But on the actual tour days, It's really fun because I have these windows that look out so I can see everybody approaching.
Mhm.
And it being Thanksgiving, these groups of family and everything, and you can see right off the bat they're having so much fun.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about
Mhm.
it. And they're always just, so excited to be there.
Right, right. Marcy, what's it like for you to prepare for the tour?
Well, we are visiting artists. Peter
Okay.
Maynard, my husband's a furniture maker, and I rent a space in downtown Putney at the, I'm spacing out on the name.
The activity barn. isn't it?
It's the, yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think of the name. But it's in downtown Putney, kind of near the general store.
Oh, okay.
So we rent that, and we set it up with Peter's furniture
Mhm.
the day before. And I set it up with my paintings, so we have, it looks like a living room basically set up with furniture and art. And this year I'm going to try to do a demonstration of monotype printing
Ooh.
in one area of the space. Just because I think people are interested to see people at work.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't know what monotype printing is, and it might be interesting to watch. And I think we're going to try to have some slideshows and also videos of some of Peter's processes on a monitor,
Mhm.
so people can watch if they want to see that and give it a little more context
Yeah.
to the furniture there.
Right, right. And Tom, what about your studio setup and how it works on the day of the tours as opposed to all year round?
Well, the weekend of the tour is pretty exciting for us up there because the rest of the year is very quiet.
Uh-huh.
We live at the end of a dead-end dirt road in what was once an old hilltop farm.
Mhm.
And it's just quiet up there. I love it. I mean, a lot of the wood I use for my bowls comes from the woods that are, right around us.
Mhm.
The community is invited in
Mhm.
for the Putney Craft Tour, which is what I really love about it. I mean, people come from all over the country, all over the world,
Mhm.
but I love it when our neighbors come
Mhm.
and people that we know year round, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to kind of connect with people that way. So yeah, like I said, it's very quiet up there until that weekend happens, and then it's really wonderful.
Well, I also know from having participated not in the Putney tour, but other art tours, it also gives you a chance to clean up your studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
once a-
hello.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once a
why
year
did it
is
stay
pretty
this
good.
But that can also be frustrating. It sounds like Marcy's going to set something up where she might be able to do some work as a demonstration.
Right.
Do you manage to, and there's times when it probably is full, and there might be some really slow times where an hour or something no one's coming by. So what do you do?
Well,
Run
my-
inside and stoke the fire?
No, I
Do you
actually have a
uh,
son who brings me food.
Oh,
That's his
okay.
thing.
But do you work on your gourds?
I do. I
Yeah, so you
actually have a
can't.
lot of workstations
Yeah,
set
yeah,
up,
oh,
and
great.
I have a huge studio.
Yeah.
So I always have something to do. Or you'll just even sweep up if somebody brought some mud in.
Right,
take the
right,
chance.
right.
But no, there's always stuff to do while I'm
Right,
waiting. But fortunately, you don't have to wait long.
Right,
There's
right.
always people coming through. It's so
And-
exciting.
And Tom, with your method, do you ever do sort of a mini demonstration? Is there something sort of set up? So I'm sure some people would be fascinated by,
Yeah.
the machinery, the tools, how you actually do it.
The first year I was on the tour, I did that, and I gave demonstrations. It was hard for me because, it's distracting
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons. Now I have a bowl, it's a work in progress on my lathe. If there's an opportunity, like you say, where it might be a little slower, I might do something, just to show the people that are there if
Yeah.
they're interested. I did not participate in the demonstration because it was just so much
Yeah.
for me this
It's
year.
two different things
Yeah.
and stuff.
And it's just really Kathy and I up there
Yeah.
for the tour, so yeah, we're kind of busy.
Yeah. Well, it'd probably be great also sometime if you don't is to just do a little video of you working that could just be off in the side
that's a
because some
great-
people
that's a
would
great
probably be
idea.
thrilled. What do? You take this piece of wood and it's like when you watch pottery being made or anything.
Yeah.
People are very kind of intrigued by the process
Yep.
too,
Yeah.
and off to the side, that they can just kind of fill in a little bit more about that and stuff. So you know, 3 of you are here. There are, how many artists do we say are going to be
22.
22. If you hear a voice, this is Lynn Barrett. And we got to give a shout out to Lynn.
I have to
Lynn,
say too, she just reminded me that my son is going to be going around the tour this year
Yeah.
because he does video. He's a communications major.
Okay.
And he did one on Bob Birch that's on our Facebook page. So
Okay.
if people want to check that out, the glassblower. But he'll be doing, trying to get it to as many studios this year. So there will be video.
Great. No, but I wanted, Lynn Barrett has helped put the publicity around the event together and is a pretty amazing person with her Southern Vermont Arts Living magazine and the way she's been really consistently supporting artists and the culture in southeastern Vermont and throughout the state. So bravo, Lynn, brava.
Another thing
You
they
know?
have is that photo contest, so the people who go around to the craft tour, if they take a photo and they submit it, it could potentially be up on Instagram, and there'll be a winner. Whoever wins with the best photo gets a $50 gift certificate to one of the any of the studios, I think.
Right.
that
I
they
think
would
that's
like.
what it is, yeah.
Right. So another thing I'm interested in because of running the arts organization, the Rockingham Arts Museum Project, is, you know, the bringing of artists together. And this is an event. So how much, you know, going into this event or after the event or throughout the year, do the artists on the tour connect with each other?
At
Well,
meetings.
There's a PR group that Kim and I are part of.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so it's at
And Lynn?
meetings mostly.
And we meet pretty regularly. Every several months we meet, and, you know, sometimes a little more than others, just to sort of keep the fires burning with promotion on all different fronts. And a lot goes
And
into
we have
it.
member meetings where all the members
Right.
get together to work on the tour.
Right.
I was lucky to go to a bunch of studios because I did a video of 7 different artists. So I got to see a lot because otherwise you don't really
Yeah.
get to unless you make the time.
Yeah.
So fortunately this year I've had more of the, like Tom has gotten to my studio. Now I have to return. But Julie Brand, so it really is fun when you can start visiting, but it's usually not during the tour. It's got to be
no,
during,
it's
yeah.
impossible during the tour to get
Well,
out
some
of your own
people want to
studio.
take time off and go visit,
No,
but
you almost
yeah.
have to have another event.
Yeah,
Somehow
just
or
for the-
figure, and you never know how to figure that out, that
Yeah.
people could visit. I guess you just make connections. But what about your connection with other artists that are either through the tour specifically or your connection just in general?
I think it's a connection in general for me. I mean, a lot of the people on the tour I've known for a number of years, which has been really nice.
Right.
I kind of love the spirit of the tour and the fact that we all do get together to kind of make decisions and, you know, to kind of organize the tour. It's kind of a self-promoting kind of thing. And there's a real tradition, you know, after 40 years of how this is done. And I just find that fascinating, just to be a part of that with so many artists in the area. They're an interesting group of people.
Yeah. So if one was an artist and, you know, maybe had not moved to the area and was interested in participating in being on the tour, what is the vetting process? What's the application, the vetting process?
We do have a jury committee.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is good. And so on the Facebook page, you can see a way to connect, to
Okay.
make that contact, to show your interest. And then there's the committee that's on the jury committee. Will go and visit your studio and see, and then discuss, and then decide, you know, as a group, yay or nay.
And is there a geographic range?
Yeah.
I think there's 4 of us out this way, which is probably the farthest away from Putney.
Yeah, Saxon's River's the
I think
furthest.
my studio might be the farthest away from Putney this year.
Okay.
So it's
And then Julia Brandeis is on Morsebrook Road. Kim is right in
Westminster,
Westminster
on Station.
Station. There's a new person, Jeanette Stan.
Staley. Yep, Jeanette.
And she's right in Gageville.
Yep,
Which
yep.
I think is wonderful.
Yep.
So there is a little cluster of us, kind of a little farther north now.
right. It originated more in Putney, but then has spread out to. So it's
Right.
Putney, Westminster, Saxon's River area.
Right.
But that's, I think, about it. Right.
And Marcy, like with you and Peter, you know, setting up site in Putney, are there many other artists that also have come in from another, you know, an outlying area and set up some stuff?
No, I think we're the only invited artists.
Right.
But I think this coming year will be maybe hoping for another new,
Yeah.
you know, because that's the thing, you want to keep bringing in new artists, to have that
Absolutely.
interest, to, you know,
Right.
changeover. But there is a great variety on the tour. I mean, you have things from cheese making, wine making,
Yeah.
through the wooden bowls to ceramics, glass, just lots of variety.
Yeah.
So there's something for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So do each of you want to maybe talk about a couple of other artists that are on the tour to expand it for us that aren't with us? You know, we're not prioritizing it at all,
Right.
but someone, you know, you might just want to.
Well, I would talk about Julia Brandeis, because
Okay.
I've had her do some work in our house, which is lovely. Kitchen cabinets, a beautiful lamp. She has a stained glass studio off of Morsebrook Road on Newcomb.
Okay.
And yeah, in fact,
New studio.
this year she's opening up her new studio, and I know she's very excited about that.
Wow. Cool.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be really fun for her to have people come to her new studio. It's right on her property.
Okay, great. I just give them the high sign, so we just have a few more minutes, but was there a little shout out to a couple of other artists or kind of work that's diverse or, you know, that someone wants to mention?
We should mention that, like, the cheesemakers on our tour
Okay,
just
and-
came back from Italy.
And who are they?
That's Parish Hill Creamery.
And
So
they're
it's
out
Rachel
on
and Peter.
Patch Road?
They're on Patch Road.
Okay.
And they just came back from Italy, and awards, I can't remember the specific,
cool.
but lots of awards for their
Yeah,
cheese.
okay.
And I'm very excited. My son, that's one of the places my son will go to do some. And since I haven't gotten there yet, it'll be fun for me to see what he
Is there much other food, artisan food on the tour in terms of
cheese.
presenting? Is
The
there a
winery.
winery, the
There's the
Putney
winery.
Winery?
And they just got
And
an
she-
award also.
And they got an award too.
Great.
But lots of award people got
Lots of
awards.
awards.
Peter got an award, her
Yeah.
husband. So,
No,
yeah.
no, that's, so great. So I'm going to just reiterate that it's on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, the 29th, 30th, and December 1st from 10 to 5. Go to the website, Vermont Craft,
Putney Craft.
putneycrafts.com, and you can look up a lot of this information. Also know that there's a center in Putney at the Gleanery
Yep.
where you can see an exhibition of all the artists' work, because, you know, you might not be able to cram it all in. You might only be there for an afternoon, so you
There's
might be able to
also
look at the work and see which ones you want to go
There's
see.
the, what's the exit, the Guilford's, Welcome
Oh,
Center
Guilford
also
Welcome
has
Center.
a-
Okay, when you're
so
coming
if you
north
stop-
on
right,
91.
and you want to stop
Yep.
there just to check out the
Yep.
display there as well.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. And you know, I always enjoyed going to it. I've never gotten to all the artisans throughout the tour
Yep.
in one day because there's just too many to see. But I really encourage people to get down there and look at this incredible work that we've just seen in front of
It's
us. You
fun.
know, and it's fun and it's
so
stuff.
much fun.
And you know, I think also as a viewer, if you're not used to going into artist studios, be very relaxed about it. There's no expectation. I mean, of course, as an artist, we always love to sell our work if we can. But the idea is you can go in there and look around and you can say hi and you don't necessarily have to get involved in conversation. And if it isn't your cup of tea, it's perfectly fine to say
No
thank
one-
you and
yeah.
move on. You don't feel like, oh my God, what do I
right.
do? Just, you know, it's really an experience to be able to go into an artist studio where they work and feel just relaxed about that experience. You know, don't get uptight about it. Don't feel under any kind of obligation. But it's also amazing some of the conversations and the connections you can have about
It
how
is.
people work. And you know, I always like to say we are all creative people. So whether we're specifically doing artwork or not, you know, we do creative things. So just, you know, you can relate to it just, you know, through that. So I want to thank you again for coming on the show, and I hope to see you all next year for the 42nd
Second.
Yes.
Putney Tour, and thank Lynn again. And I want to thank Fact TV for making this such a great resource to get information out to the community, and also thank the Vermont Arts Council, the National Endowment for the Arts, and Chroma Technology for helping to underwrite RAMP and its mission. So until next time, this is Robert McBride.